A while back, I started tracking every single shilling that was leaving my account. And what I found was uncomfortable. Not because I was blowing money on obvious things, but because the biggest wastes were decisions I had never once stopped to question. Things society had told me were completely normal. Things everyone around me was doing. So in this video, I'm going to show you 8 things that are a complete waste of your money. And more importantly, what to do instead. My name is Martin, and this is Wealth Insights Global, where we break down wealth building, smart money decisions, and financial strategy in a way that actually makes sense for where you are right now. Let's get into it. The first one might surprise you. It's buying cheap. You've heard the saying, buy cheap, buy twice. And most of us have lived that lesson firsthand. You buy the cheapest option to save money, and 6 months later, you're buying the exact same thing again because the first one fell apart. But here's the part nobody talks about. Even when we know a cheap purchase isn't working, we can't let it go. It ends up in a drawer, in a corner, taking up space, and we keep it there because throwing it away feels like admitting we wasted money. There's actually a name for this. It's called the sunk cost fallacy, when we hold on to something not because it's useful, but because we've already spent money on it. Think about it this way. If you're watching a bad movie at the cinema, you probably stay till the end because you paid for the ticket. But if you're watching that same movie at home for free, you'd switch it off in 10 minutes. The movie didn't change, only what you already spent did. So before you buy something cheap, ask yourself 2 questions. 1, how often will I actually use this? If it's daily, don't skimp. If it's once a year, don't overspend either. 2, do I actually need it? Because most cheap purchases sit unused not because they broke, but because they were never solving a real problem in the first place. Number 2, now borrowing more than you need to buy a bigger home. Whether you're renting a bigger apartment or taking on a larger mortgage, the logic always sounds reasonable in the moment. The monthly payments look manageable. The space seems worth it. But here's what the numbers look like in reality. If you borrow the equivalent of 4.5 million at 4% over 30 years, you'll end up repaying closer to 7.7 million once you include interest. Increase that loan by just 1 million more, and now you're looking at repaying over 9.4 million. That extra room just cost you nearly 2 million in interest alone. And that's before you factor in higher utility bills, more maintenance, more furniture, more repairs, all of which come with a bigger space. Here's the mindset shift I want you to make. Stop asking what the bank is willing to lend you. Ask what actually fits your life right now. Staying smaller for longer keeps your fixed costs down and frees up money for the investments that actually build wealth. Bigger is not always better. Sometimes it's just more expensive. Number 3. Upgrading your phone every single year. I understand the pull. When the cost is spread over monthly payments and you can trade in your old device, it doesn't feel like real money. But it is. If you're paying around 5,000 shillings a month for a phone plan, that's 60,000 a year. Do that every 2 years for a decade and you've easily spent 300,000 to 400,000 just on phones. Devices that are now obsolete, gone. My honest advice, if your phone is working, keep it. Wait, use it until it truly can't keep up, then upgrade. The difference between last year's model and this year's model is often a slightly better camera and a marketing campaign, that's it. And the money you save by waiting just 1 extra year could go straight into a money market fund or your investment account instead. That phone upgrade is a choice. Make sure it's a conscious one. Number 4, spending a fortune on diamonds because someone told you that you had to. You've probably heard the rule, an engagement ring should cost 1 month's salary, maybe 2, maybe 3. Where did that come from? A marketing campaign, literally. A diamond company created that expectation to sell more diamonds. And it worked so well that people now believe it's tradition. Here's what most people don't know. The moment you walk out of the jewelry store, a diamond ring loses a significant portion of its value. Not because it's low quality, because the price is inflated by branding and marketing. Now, if diamonds matter to you, I'm not telling you not to buy one, but consider this. Lab-grown diamonds are chemically identical to mined diamonds. Even trained gemologists can't tell the difference without specialist equipment, and they cost 30 to 70% less. The point is simple. Know what you're actually paying for, because a lot of that price tag is not the stone, it's the story they sold you around it. Number 5. And this is one I see constantly. Convincing yourself that a luxury purchase is an investment to justify buying it. You want an expensive bag, a high-end chair, a luxury watch. You know it's a lot of money, so your brain starts building a case. It's quality, I'll use it for years, it might even go up in value. And the moment that thought is in your head, something interesting happens. You start noticing every review, every article, every person online who agrees with you, and you stop seeing the reasons not to buy. That's called confirmation bias, and it's incredibly expensive. Let me be direct. A luxury item is not an investment. It will not generate income. It will not grow your net worth. It might bring you joy, and that's a valid reason to buy it. But call it what it is. Put it in the right category in your budget and make the decision honestly. You don't need to dress up a want as a need. Just be intentional about it. Number 6, extended warranties. You're at checkout. You found the right laptop, the right TV, the right appliance. And right before you pay, the question appears, would you like to add an extended warranty? It feels responsible. It feels like the smart thing to do. But here's the truth. Most products don't break during the extended warranty period. And when they do, the repair cost is often less than what you already paid for the warranty. On top of that, you may already be covered. Most products come with a manufacturer's warranty. Many credit cards automatically extend warranty protection on purchases. Extended warranties are pushed hard because they are extremely profitable for the companies selling them. Most people never use them. That's the whole business model. Number 7, weddings. And before you switch off, I'm not saying don't have a wedding. I'm saying know your number before the planning begins. Here's what typically happens. You visit a venue. It's beautiful. The price seems manageable. You lock in the date. And then the costs start stacking. Photographer, decor, catering, outfits, transport, extra fees you didn't expect. And because you only plan to do this once, every budget line feels impossible to cut. Before you know it, you're borrowing money to fund a single day. The last thing a new marriage needs is debt from the wedding that started it. So here's the rule. Decide your number before you see a single venue. Write down what genuinely matters to you and your partner, and give yourself full permission to say no to everything else, including pressure from family who aren't paying the bill. A beautiful wedding does not require a devastating budget. Protect your financial future, even on your most special day. And number 8, streaming subscriptions running quietly in the background every single month. The average person is subscribed to multiple streaming platforms at once, and for most people, they're actively using maybe 1 or 2 of them. The rest, they're paying for the idea of having options, not the actual content. Here's a useful test. Pick one of your subscriptions and ask yourself, how much would I need to watch this month to feel like it was worth the money? 2 shows? 3? Now multiply that across every platform you're paying for. Is that realistically how you're spending your time? Do a quick audit. Go through every subscription you're paying for right now. Keep the ones you genuinely used last month. Cancel everything else. You can always come back when there's something you actually want to watch. Small recurring costs are the quietest wealth destroyers. They never feel urgent, but they add up fast. Let's bring it all together. The 8 things quietly wasting your money are: 1. Buying cheap and falling into the sunk cost trap. 2. Borrowing more than you need for a bigger home. 3. Upgrading your phone every year. 4. Overspending on diamonds based on manufactured expectations. 5. Labeling luxury purchases as investments. 6. Paying for extended warranties you'll never use. 7. Letting your wedding budget spiral out of control. 8. Streaming subscriptions you're barely watching. Pick one from this list, just one, and take one honest look at it this week. If this video gave you value, and I believe it did, here's what I want you to do right now. Subscribe to this channel, Every week we publish content designed to help you build real wealth, make smarter financial decisions, and stop leaving money on the table. Drop a comment. Tell me which of these 8 you relate to the most. I read every single comment. And visit wealthinsights.co.ke, where we go even deeper on wealth building, investing, and financial strategy built for your reality. I'll see you in the next one. Keep building. Wealth Insights Global. Know more, build more, live more.